From an EV fire in China that nearly destroyed every car in the lot, and a poorly paved road in Bangkok that collapsed under an SUV, to a welding mishap in the UK that set this customer's car on fire, and much more. Here are 5 catastrophic failures caught on CCTV camera. Apparently, the parents in Nanyang, China don't mind if their kids play with fireworks. Just because they aren't the big ones you see on the 4th of July doesn't mean they can't do some serious damage. CCTV cameras were rolling on New Year's Eve of 2023. 3 kids were playing with some small fireworks in an alley. They'd light them and watch as they zip across the ground. Then they'd run away when the fireworks got too close. It was all fun and games until one of their toys sailed under a door. If you blinked, you missed it. Let's watch that again in slow motion. The firework zips under the small gap between the warehouse door and the platform. The kids lose sight of it and walk away. They had no idea what was about to happen. The warehouse manager arrives 4 minutes later. He notices smoke and a bright orange light coming from under the door. He opens up to find a raging inferno on the other side. He grabs a bucket conveniently filled with water and tries to douse the flames. Meanwhile, another man calls the fire department. More help arrives, and they manage to get the doors open. Unfortunately, all the buckets in Nanyang couldn't fight that flame. The fire department arrived about 10 minutes after the manager discovered the fire. Thankfully, their hoses did the trick. It's unclear how much damage that tiny firework caused. Whatever was inside the warehouse must have been pretty flammable. The moral of this story? Don't let kids play with fireworks. Going to a mechanic can be hit or miss. Most often, they get the job done right and for a fair price. Other times, things take a drastic turn. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened at this shop on August 1st of 2021 when a clueless mechanic accidentally set a customer's car on fire. It was supposed to be a simple welding job. You can see the Honda in the bottom left corner of your screen. It needed a quick welding job to pass the MOT, the UK's inspection test. As the story goes, the mechanic was welding a rotted sill. The sill is the part of your car's frame that sits below your door. You probably step on it whenever you get in and out of your car. Sparks from his torch flew through the opening and set the carpet on fire. Our mechanic keeps welding. Sparks keep flying, and the fire gets bigger and bigger. Meanwhile, everyone in the shop is clueless as to what's going on. That's when a worker approaches him from the back and points to the flaming car. The bald man you see popping his head up is the owner. He runs and grabs a fire extinguisher as another employee lowers the car. He starts spraying, and the garage fills with smoke. Unfortunately, the fire is too big for his tiny extinguisher. Luckily, another employee keeps fighting. It's unclear what he's throwing on the fire, but it eventually goes out. Talk about an expensive mistake that could have been avoided with a little more attention and care. The shop was able to repair the damage, though, and the car passed inspection shortly after. Electric cars are the way of the future. That said, we still have a few problems to work out. Several owners left their cars plugged into chargers on July 2nd of 2020. It's unclear where this video took place, but we believe it's somewhere in China based on the license plates. Something must have been wrong with the boxcar on the right. It began making strange noises, the kind a car shouldn't make. It sounded like a screaming tea kettle or a plane preparing for takeoff. Unfortunately, those sounds could only mean one thing. Watch how the fire shoots from the car like a jet engine. Kudos to that charging cable. You'd think it would have melted in half by now. It probably doesn't help that it's feeding energy into a flaming car. The fire eventually spreads to the white truck. It melts the front left tire and snaps the brake lines. Thankfully, the truck didn't roll across the lot and into another line of cars. By now, the white car and the truck are fully engulfed. It looks like the charging cable prevented the truck from rolling any further. Man, who knew these things were so strong? Things calm momentarily. It looks like the third car might actually escape this ordeal, but the fire is burning too hot. You can see the moment when the bumper combusts. It's unclear if the fire started because of the car or the charging station. If we had to guess, it was likely an issue with the car's battery. These owners will probably think twice the next time they leave their cars unattended. It was around 10 a.m. on November 20th of 2014. A call came in to the Kansas City Police Department about a woman who had just stolen a white SUV. The police chased her all over town. She ran stoplights and hit speeds over 80 miles per hour. The cops lost her momentarily, but another officer near 12th Street and Prospect Avenue saw her speed by. Thankfully, the chase only lasted about 2 more miles. As the suspect sped down Oak Street, she lost control, clipped a fire hydrant, and smashed into an old building. It crumbled around her car, trapping her inside. Thankfully, the building was vacant other than a few vintage cars. The building used to be an old Ford dealership. Here's what it looked like before the crash. Here's what it looked like after the crash, and here's what it looks like today. Thanks to this crazy lady, the corner of Oak and 18th went from a brick eyesore to a sleek, modern beer hall. Thailand is a country full of beautiful sights, from tropical beaches to bustling cities and everything in between. But they also have their fair share of problems. The country is known to have some of the worst roads in the world. In fact, they're in the top 10 most dangerous places to drive, with tens of thousands of preventable accidents each year. Even in Bangkok, where there's plenty of money to fix the issues, ridiculous things still happen. Back in November of 2023, CCTV cameras captured one of these moments as it unfolded. A couple cars make it past some sort of bump in the road with no problem. But then comes along a fully loaded dump truck and things take a drastic turn. The road caves in where the bump was, and an unlucky SUV driver had no time to react. Footage from the ground shows how close the driver came to disaster. The SUV driver claims they saw the hole but simply didn't have time to react. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but you can bet his undercarriage sustained a bit of damage. Hopefully, Thai officials take this as a lesson to start improving their infrastructure once and for all. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching and be sure to tune in next time.